So most nutrition plans fall into one of two camps. Either you're tracking every single gram of the food that you eat, or you're being told just to eat intuitively, which is a route I went down for a while, and there is something to be said for this, but while living in a house full of snacks and stress, it's all too easy to go for the quick option, and neither approach really works when you're a parent, does it? Let's be honest. So you start off strong, maybe you try MyFitnessPal, tracking everything for a week, but by the time the weekend hits, you've missed 3 meals, smashed a takeaway, and you're tucking into that Friday night chocolate. And that probably sounds all too familiar, and if it does, then this video is for you, because I'm going to show you a new way parents are finally staying consistent with their nutrition. And I'm also going to give you 3 takeaway, easy things that you can implement today. No calorie counting for the rest of your life, no cutting out carbs and being miserable, and definitely no cooking separate meals from the rest of your family, which weirdly is something that someone I worked with recently had been told by a previous coach, and they were miserable because they couldn't eat dinner with their family. But this system will really finally make things click for you. So first, we just want to dive into why do parents fall off track when it comes to their nutrition? Well, this is the real problem in my view. Most nutrition advice is built for people who have time. They have time to track every meal, time to prep 15 odd containers of chicken and rice, time to cook something separate from the family every night. But that's not most parents. You've got a job, the family, and there'll be some days where you actually have zero control over your schedule, and you have to live by that. And the reason most parents fall off isn't because they're lazy or uncommitted, it's just simply because their plan isn't designed to survive real life. We all know the saying that no plan survives first contact with the enemy. Well, these plans are just that. When things get busy, which they will, you default back to whatever habits you had before. So skipping meals, grazing, energy crashes, all of it. You don't need more willpower, you need a better system that will educate you and help you change those habits. So what we're trying to do then is give you a structure that you can work with. So this is why I've built the Parent Fuel framework, a system I use with every client inside the Athletic Parent Project, and here's how it works. So we start with the awareness phase, and this is where we mainly make use of tracking, and that's to learn your current routine. The reason I do this is instead of just handing out any old meal plan is because the chances are there is, number one, some good stuff in what you're doing. It won't all be bad. And 2, the closer the new routine is to what you do now, the more likely you are to get on board with it. Now, we're not obsessively tracking everything for months on end, but we're paying attention to the big rocks. So are you hitting enough protein? Are you skipping meals and then crashing later? Are you underfueling for your workouts? And from there, we can then get an idea of what you're doing and move into the integration phase. So we're still tracking during this phase because we want to make sure you understand portion sizes, the actual amount that you're eating. And that's very hard to get to and get it absolutely spot on without tracking. But this is the phase where we're going to start building your new routine and changing those habits. So I'd like to develop a menu of simple, repeatable meals that you can fall back on during busy weeks. Because if you have a 7-day meal plan where everything is different each day, then the more likely you are to miss some, then you become demotivated and things spiral from there. Instead, we'll use tracking insights to set anchor meals for breakfast and lunch and snacks, give you a plate guide so you can eat with your family each night, have something different each night, but still enjoy yourself and still stay on plan. And then we also introduced the 2-2-1 meal prep strategy. This is where you prep a couple of days of lunches because that's time realistic for parents. You then have a planned lunch on 2 days that you know you can make nice and quickly. Then you have 1 day where you might buy lunch or have a bit more variety. You still stick to your calorie and protein goals. And we also want to make sure in this phase that you've got a hydration goal of 2 to 3 litres of water per day and 1 to 2 options for post-training snacks. So now you've got everything you need. It's just then about implementation, and that's what we layer on in the performance phase. So this involves habit stacking to help bed the new routine in. So fine-tuning your meals, learning what to eat around training so you're not dragging yourself through sessions, how to handle weekends and meals out without blowing up your progress, which is really important, and also managing the inevitable cravings and emotional eating without guilt. This system is not about perfection, it's about creating the system that survives your reality, not someone else's highlight reel on Instagram. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that this is super easy to do. That's why people come to someone like me for help with this, but it is doable for all parents. Now not going to go into detail on the next two phases in this video, but we also have the flexibility and identity phase where we help you learn to make this routine flexible and reinforce a long-term identity. But what I am going to do is give you 3 really quick, easy fixes that you can implement today. And these are, number 1, choose 1 to 2 consistent breakfasts and lunches this week. Don't worry about variety right now, just get something consistent. Have something high in protein and something that is quick to prep. That will be a win. Number 2, start a post-training snack routine. Doesn't have to be fancy. Banana or a protein shake is fine, something that will give you fuel and help your recovery. And then number 3, track your protein for just 7 days. Don't log everything, just look at your protein. Most people massively undereat, especially at breakfast and lunch. Now I'm sorry if these sound like really basic, non-sexy things, but they'll stabilise your energy, they'll help with recovery, and help stop that late night binge restrict cycle that most parents get caught in, because if you aren't eating enough protein or you're just going on the fly, then that's what you'll fall into the trap of doing. You'll be hungry a lot of the time and you'll fall back into those bad habits. So there's 3 quick, easy things that you can implement this week to start on your journey. Now look, the goal isn't to become a robot with your food. The goal is to stop starting over every few weeks. That's what this framework does. It gives you tools you can actually use when life gets chaotic, because let's be honest, when is it not? If you want the full breakdown of how this works, if you're ready to start actually putting this into place, then message me about the Athletic Parent Accelerator. It's a 4-week kickstart where we lay the foundation of training, nutrition and consistency without it taking over your life. So this stuff isn't about being perfect, like I said, it's about fueling well, feeling good and becoming an example for your kids, not the warning.